began with a dog. A woman walked her pet along the edge of the desert, in a quiet part of Albuquerque where the homes give way to dust and silence. And there, half buried in the dry, cracked ground, was a bone. It wasn't animal. The first officers thought it might be old, a medical skeleton maybe, nothing urgent. But when the digging began, they found more and more. By the time they were done, they had unearthed 11 women and a fetus, all buried in shallow graves, all found in what would soon be called the West Mesa graveyard. For years, no one noticed. Construction crews had been planning to build here. The city was expanding, but the recession hit, development froze, the land sat untouched, and the killer's secret stayed buried until the winds shifted. They disappeared between 2003 and 2005, one by one, not in a single night, not in some dramatic vanishing. They just stopped being there. Women who walked the streets of Albuquerque, mostly along Central Avenue, a stretch known for its shadows. These women weren't tourists. They weren't strangers to the city. They lived here. They had families. They had stories. Most were in their 20s, some younger. Jamie Barella was just 15 years old. And all of them, they were known to the system. Some struggled with drug addiction. Some were homeless. Some were involved in sex work. The kind of women society too often looks away from. They didn't vanish in secret. Their families reported them missing. They made flyers, called hospitals, called jails. They went door to door, slept in their cars while searching alleyways. But what they got back was silence, or worse. They were told, "She probably left town. She'll turn up. You know how she is." There was no manhunt, no task force, no urgency, not then. Because when women like this go missing, people don't always look for them. Cinnamon Elks told someone she thought she was being watched. Then she was gone. Virginia Cloven told her father she was going to meet someone. She never came home. Monica Candelaria was last seen in a neighborhood known for violence. Some said she got into a truck. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. The disappearances didn't stop all at once, but they slowed. By 2006, they seemed to stop entirely. No one knew why, not yet. But in the silence that followed, something was waiting, something buried, literally. It would take 4 more years, a recession, and an unfinished housing project for the truth to come out. The land was supposed to become a neighborhood, new homes, streets, families. But the housing boom crashed, and what was left behind was silence. The kind of silence that hides things. February 2nd, 2009. A woman was walking her dog near her backyard in Mesa del Sol, a growing suburb just south of Albuquerque. The dog stopped, started digging, and what it found wasn't trash. It was a bone. Human. At first, police thought it might be old, a fragment left from a medical specimen or dumped illegally. But then came more bones, and more. The ground began giving up its secrets. The dirt was shallow. The bodies were close to the surface, some barely 2 feet deep. It wasn't one grave. It was a scattered graveyard. Over the following weeks, investigators found the remains of 11 women and 1 unborn child. Jamie Barella, Evelyn Salazar, Monica Candelaria, Victoria Chavez, Cinnamon Elks, Doreen Marquez, Virginia Cloven, Selania Edwards, Veronica Romero, Julie Nieto, Michelle Valdez. Some had been missing for 6 years, others even longer. No one had found them. No one had even looked here, because no one thought to search this dead patch of desert. No cameras, no foot traffic, no reason to go there, unless you were trying to hide something. The official name became the West Mesa Burial Site, but the media gave it another name, one that stuck, the West Mesa Bone Collector. The entire area was treated like a crime scene. For weeks, no one could enter. No one except the teams digging, cataloging, and trying to understand who did this and why these women. There were no shell casings, no clothing. The killer or killers had taken their time. No signs of panic, no signs of care either. Just bodies in the sand. Like they didn't matter. This wasn't just one grave, it was a pattern, a timeline of death stretching over years. The killer had a routine, a place, a plan. Then suddenly it stopped. So the question was no longer just who killed these women, but why did they stop, and what changed? Once the bodies were identified, the question changed. No longer who are they, but who did this to them? It wasn't just one crime scene. It was 11 women, one unborn child, taken over 2 years, dumped in the same place, and left to vanish beneath the sand. Whoever did this had done it before, more than once, and then they stopped, which made police wonder, did something or someone stop them? That's when one name began to surface. A man who'd had run-ins with the law. A man whose criminal history wasn't just long, it was violent. His name was Lorenzo Montoya. Montoya lived in a trailer on the South Valley edge of Albuquerque, less than 3 miles from where the women were buried. He was known to frequent Central Avenue, known to solicit sex workers, and known to be dangerous. In 1998, he was arrested for attacking a woman he lured into his car. She got away. He was charged but served no real time. Police would encounter him again and again, but never long enough to stop him. December 2006. Montoya invites a woman to his trailer. Neighbors hear sounds, thumps, a struggle, then silence. The woman doesn't walk out. Her boyfriend waiting outside grows suspicious. He forces his way in, and what he finds is horrifying. She's dead, strangled. He pulls a gun. Montoya is shot and killed on the spot. After that night, the killings stopped. No more missing women fitting the profile. No more fresh graves in the West Mesa. Police started to wonder, was Montoya the one they were looking for all along? Satellite imagery from that time showed disturbed soil on the West Mesa. New burial sites appeared in the same years Montoya was active. One image dated 2004 showed fresh tire tracks. Another from 2006 showed the last visible disturbance. And then, nothing. It fit his location, his history, his timeline. But there was one problem. They couldn't prove it. No DNA, no eyewitnesses, no surviving victims who could tie him directly to the burial site. And Montoya, he was already dead. No confession, no answers, just another silence. Some investigators believed the case was closed in everything but name. Others weren't so sure. Because even if Montoya was involved, was he working alone? And as the years passed, other names began to surface, other theories, other monsters. They found the bones, they built timelines, they chased the ghost of Lorenzo Montoya, and then everything stopped. No new suspects, no arrests, only theories. In the absence of answers, speculation rushes in. Some believe the West Mesa killings were the work of a lone predator, someone who watched, who followed, who knew how to make people disappear. A man who blended into the background until he didn't. But others believe something bigger was at play. Over the years, whispers grew louder. Some said it wasn't just one man, that it was a network, a trafficking operation targeting vulnerable women in Albuquerque, a system, not a person, and that the burial site wasn't just convenient, it was purposeful. Central Avenue was, and still is, a corridor of survival sex work. Women working the street were often desperate. Disappearing wasn't unusual, and that's what made it so easy. Someone took advantage of that. Someone knew they wouldn't be missed fast enough. Someone counted on silence. One of the victims didn't even come from New Mexico. Selania Edwards. She was only 15, a runaway from Oklahoma. No one knows how she ended up in Albuquerque or who brought her there, but she died like the others and was buried with them. That's when the trafficking theory started to take hold. People began asking hard questions. Was someone transporting women across state lines? Were there others who never got found? Some survivors came forward, women who had escaped close calls. They spoke about a man, sometimes described as Hispanic, other times white, always alone, always with a vehicle. He'd pick them up, drive into the outskirts. Sometimes he let them go. Sometimes they barely got away. One woman said he told her, "You remind me of someone I couldn't keep." She never forgot his eyes. Theories kept piling up, but evidence didn't. No DNA, no murder weapons, no phone records, no cameras out on the mesa. And by the time they found the bodies, everything that could have mattered was long gone. For the families, it wasn't just a mystery. It was insult added to heartbreak. Many of them had begged the police for years, filed reports, made calls. They were dismissed. And now they wonder, could some of those women have been saved? More than a decade later, the trail is cold, but the desert never forgets, and neither do the families. There are pieces still missing, not just from the case, but from the story. The part no one wants to say out loud. What if he's still out there, watching, waiting? The desert is quiet now, but not empty. Beneath this ground, something still lingers. Not just what was buried, but what was lost. Each year, the families gather. They say the names out loud, light candles, leave flowers at the site where their daughters were found. Some bring signs, some bring nothing but grief, because there's nothing left to bring. Michelle Valdez was pregnant when she died. Her daughter was found buried beside her. She never had a name, only a case number. The case file didn't even call her a person, but she was, to Michelle, to the people who remember. More than a decade has passed. There are still no arrests, no trial, no justice, just questions, and a burial ground that was almost paved over. The land has been fenced off now, not because they're still investigating, but because it became a memorial. A scar the city couldn't ignore, a place to remember what the world wanted to forget. Some good came out of it. Albuquerque police created new missing persons units. Community advocates now walk Central Avenue offering food, phone access, shelter info. But the change came late, too late. Some say justice is a matter of time, others know better. Sometimes time just buries the truth deeper. The West Mesa doesn't speak, but it remembers. And maybe one day, someone will listen. If this story moved you, help us keep their names alive. Share, subscribe, and never assume someone's disappearance means they chose to leave. Sometimes they were taken. If you're intrigued by unsolved mysteries and chilling cases, check out my playlist, True Crime Murders and Disappearances, for more unsolved cases.